Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today, we're discussing a model launched in 2020. This is the Panerai Luminor Marina Goldtech Sol Blue. It is the PAM01112, and it is a dramatic Luminor 1950 case with red gold and a blue dial. So let's take a quick look at this watch, which is 44 millimeters in diameter, 13.5 millimeters thick, 53.8 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip with a 24 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Now the watch is easy to wear. In spite of being large, you can see that the watch effectively wears like a square. So while the lugs do push out to the edge of my wrist, somehow it doesn't seem as awkward as when a watch has conventional lugs. Think IWC Big Pilot's watch. This actually wears fine, and I would recommend it on a wrist as small as 15 centimeters circumference. Again, mine is 16, no issues. Down the barrel one more time, and then take a look at the cuff shot. And surprisingly, only 13.5 millimeters thick, this will fit underneath the dress cuff. The strap is a little bit more upscale than we're used to seeing from Panerai, since it uses a large rectangular scale alligator leather rather than textile, rubber, or calfskin. You can see it is a sort of medium blue, let's call it aged ultramarine, and then we have a little bit of a monotone stitch, a very sheer but folded edge. A lot of times when you see a sheer edge, it's been cut. This has been folded up and over, and there's a lot of bolstering or stuffing inside to give it volume. You can see it's a brand new Panerai factory strap, calfskin on the bottom, no crimping, no gouging. The watch comes with a matching rose gold, perhaps I should say red gold pin buckle. This watch is described as the Goldtech, a special gold that Panerai makes, equivalent to its former Oro Rosso. It's 5N red gold that has a huge percentage of copper in it. So the primary ingredient in this 18-karat gold alloy is still gold, but then you have an enormous amount of copper. Almost the entire remainder of the alloy is copper, but it also has a high platinum content. Now, while platinum in any gold alloy is going to be trace, the trace here is high enough that this will not fade to rose, pink, or yellow gold. So the Goldtech has two different purposes. One is to look intensely red in the moment, and then the second is to maintain that intensity through the decades. The case is the Luminor 1950 that better represents the original 6152 combat watch than the Luminors of the 90s. The modern Luminor 1950 case arrived in 2002 on the PAM01112, and these have always been the more historically inspired of the Luminor models. Now, we still have the device protecting the crown. You can see it even has a little bearing in it, and it has since 2007. So you pop it open. Now the crown is unlocked. I can set the watch. I can wind the watch. I can use the independently mobile hour hand. I can set the date forward or backwards, depending on which direction I'm traveling. I can pull the crown out and then activate stop seconds or hacking seconds. And then it's hard to accidentally jump in the water with this unlocked, because this is difficult to miss. It also preserves the crown seals better, because you don't have to thread the stem assembly through the seals again and again. And that's the reason this thing was originally developed in the late 40s and implemented in the 50s by Panerai, because in those days, all of the Panerai watches were manual wind, and the constant screwing in and screwing out with the oyster crowns they were using from Rolex in the 30s and the 40s, it wore down the seals. So this system, which just compresses and decompresses the seals, was much more enduring, and in the field, it would keep the watches ready to dive for longer between services. Now, it's also a design icon, because you know exactly what you're looking at, both the brand and the model family. Plus, it offers more protection against impact than a shouldered crown guard. The case is satin finished and quite elegant. We have a polished bezel. We have a polished crown knurling. You could see that we have removable screws with bars retaining the strap. That's the upscale way of doing things. Recently, Panerai has caught a lot of flack since 2015 for the proliferation of watches using spring bars. This old screw bar system is what you want. Now, on the dial, blue, Sol Blue. We have a metallic sunburst grain that radiates out from the center. Hands are rose gold. And Panerai showed great restraint by not opting for a fauxtina in this rose gold watch, so that's admirable. It is a sandwich dial, so it's a disc with the stenciled numerals and indices on top of a disc of solid Luminova, and then in good taste, the date disc is the same color as the dial. We'll do a lume shot here. These sandwich dials are true to history with Panerai, as during the Italian naval period, this is often how the dials were manufactured. Well, they're not made with radium or tritium anymore. Now we have super luminova, but you can see that the luminescent effect, including the three-dimensional effect of those wells within the stencil, given this watch phenomenal legibility at night, as well as a very distinctive glow. You know, just as you know with the crown, just by looking at this lume shot, you know what brand it is. Flipping it over, we have the second generation Caliber P.9010. This is the P.9010, twin barrels, automatic winding, ceramic rotor bearings, 72-hour power reserve. We get a full balance bridge with a free sprung balance for precise adjustment and shock tolerance. All of this pivots on 21 jewels. We have the independently mobile hour hand and the hacking seconds function you saw earlier. It's water resistant down to 50 meters, which along with the locking crown is sufficient for surface swimming. So don't worry about taking this in the water. You just want to make sure it's on a rubber strap or a textile strap when you do. And of course, this lateral satination and the three-quarter style bridge aesthetic is a nod to the pocket watch era of Panerai watchmaking, back when they used Rolex Caliber Caliber 618s, and then from the 1950s forward, the Angelus SF240. Those weren't automatic, but they had the similar architecture with that satination across the top of one big three-quarter bridge. The movement is tough, it's accurate, and it's Panerai's own. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.